And now, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage the Tom Nelson Trio. Ladies and gentlemen, Don't Tell Mama is proud to present We Take the Town. Please welcome Bob O'Hare. Made it. Good evening. Good evening. Welcome. Thank you for coming out on this cold night. Welcome to We Take the Town, a tribute to the shows of the great star, Robert Preston. Now, as I sit here, I can hear the wheels turning in your heads. You're saying to yourselves, well, why Bob Preston? Better yet, why Bob O'Hare and Bob Preston? Well, our story starts in 1962. I was 11 years old, and I remember my dad bundling me off to a matinee at the Rivoli movie theater in Rutherford, New Jersey. And there in the dark, I met a magician. The film was The Music Man. The star was Robert Preston, a self-made artist who hadn't sung a lick or danced a step before his breakout role of Harold Hill in The Music Man. He essentially invented himself out of a career in B movies and the occasional flop Broadway straight play. This lyric from Ben Franklin in Paris, the musical in which Preston would later star, perfectly describes that process of self-invention. The left hand's a poker for stirring up trouble. The right hand's a pipe for blowing a bubble. The neck is made of curtain rods. It certainly never bends. I invented myself out of odds and ends. Now, 1962 was not a particularly easy year for me. As I said, I was 11 years old. I was about a year younger than everybody else in my class. I was small, I was shy, I was not athletic at all. Now, all the kids in my town at that time were trying out for Little League Baseball, and I tried out too, and I did not make it. So, I had to go to the minor league. Yes, my town's Little League had a minor league. And that's where you went if you were not ready for prime time in the Little League, let alone the Babe Ruth League. But that afternoon in the dark of the Rivoli movie theater, I saw a man for whom everything seemed easy. Nothing seemed too difficult. 1 foot is a ramrod for ramming a door down. 1 foot is a rock for holding the floor down. The fingers, they are feathers meant to tickle the other sex. I invented myself out of bits and specks. Now, if you remember in The Music Man, there comes a point when the kids in the band that Harold Hill has formed have to actually play for the townsfolk. And they're going to do it using the think system, which Hill has taught them. Now, under the think system, you do not read the music. You do not practice the instrument. You think, and it will all come out. Now, I remember at the age of 11 thinking to myself, this is not going to end well. But, lo and behold, they played. They actually played. They did not play very well, but they did in fact play. And I learned a valuable lesson in that process. But the damn thing works, though it ain't plumb true or level. Though it don't quite fit, though it ain't well knit, the damn thing works like the devil. The liver's a barrel of brandy in one sense. The lungs are 2 bags of good sense and nonsense. I made the skin it's covered in from the hide of a grizzly bear. I invented myself out of thin blue air. I'm a star. Don't you understand that I'm a star? Even you, the little greenhorns that you are, must have some slight conception of a star. On a stage, spanning several generations, I'm a rage. There's my face in every program, never less than a page. And there is no law written, spoken by God or man thus far that is not there to be broken by a star. I'm a star. Have you any comprehension of a star? Tell me why it hasn't registered so far. You spent the night beside a star. Don't you know there are women who see stars perform a role, and they offer him their body and their soul. They lose control, and if a star accepts their favors, they consider it a prize, and the next day send him handkerchiefs and ties. I'm a star. Have you any comprehension of a star? Tell me why it hasn't registered so far. You spent the night beside a star. We live aloof, not in the basements of this life, but on the roof. Not in a cage with iron bars, but in the sky, there are other stars. You'll walk into famous places, and they'll know just who you are. Or you're a part of me. And I'm a star. Now, before we go any further, let me introduce the band. Peter Grant on drums. Tom Kirshmer on bass. And my musical director, Mr. Tom Nelson. Let me also introduce to you my ensemble. Because what type of star does not have his own ensemble? I'm very fortunate and so proud to have singing with me tonight 2 multi-award-winning cabaret artists and directors, Gretchen Reinhagen and Eric Michael Gillette. Now, not every song you're going to hear tonight was actually sung by Preston himself, but he was the reason the shows existed in the first place. And his presence was so commanding that, well, for example, in The Music Man, he won the audience over by the end of the very first number, even though he only had 1 line of dialogue at the end of that number.
Excuse me, friend. I don't believe I caught your name.
I don't believe I dropped it. It was Meredith Wilson's idea to start the Music Man by having all the competing salesmen traveling in a rail car through Iowa, performing what may well be Broadway's first true rap song. Cash for the merchandise, cash for the cotton goods.
Cash for the cotton goods, cash for the hard goods.
Cash for the fancy goods, cash for the soft goods.
Cash for the noggins and the piggins and the friggins. Cash for the hogshead cask and demijohn.
Cash for the crackers and the pickles and the fly paper.
Look, what do you talk? What do you talk? What do you talk? What do you talk? What do you talk?
Where do you get it?
What do you talk?
You can talk, you can talk. You can bicker, you can talk. You can bicker, bicker, bicker. You can talk all you want to, but it's different than it was.
No, it ain't. No, it ain't.
But you gotta know the territory.
Why, it's the Model T Ford made the trouble, made the people want to go, want to get up and go. 7, 8, 9, 10, 12, 14, 22, 23 miles to the county seat.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Who's gonna patronize a little bitty 2x4 kind of store anymore?
What do you talk? What do you talk?
Where do you get it?
Gone. Gone.
Gone with the hogshead cask and demijohn. Gone with the pickle barrel, sugar barrel, milk pan.
Gone with the tub and the pail and the tears.
Ever meet a fella by the name of Hill?
Hill.
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 Hill?
Hill. 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 No.
Never heard of any salesman, Hill.
Now he doesn't know the territory.
Doesn't know the territory.
What's the fella's line?
Never worries about his line.
Never worries about his line.
Or a doggone thing. He's just a bang beat, bell ringing, big haul, great go, neck or nothing, rip roaring every time a bullseye salesman. That's Professor Harold Hill. Harold Hill.
What's the fella's line?
What's his line?
He's a fake and he doesn't know the territory.
Look, what do you talk? What do you talk? What do you talk? What do you talk?
He's a music man.
He's a what?
He's a what?
He's a music man, and he sells clarinets to the kids in the town with the big brass bass, and the piccolo in uniforms too, with a shiny gold braid on the coat and a big red stripe running.
Well, I don't know much about bands, but I do know you can't make a living selling big trombones. No, sir.
Mandolin pits, perhaps, in here and there. Juice heart.
No, the fella sells bands, boys' bands.
I don't know how he does it, but he lives like a king and he dallies and he gathers and he plucks and he shines.
And when the man dances, certainly, boys, what else?
The piper pays him. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. When the man dances, certainly, boys, what else?
The piper pays him. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. But he doesn't know the territory.
Now, one of Robert Preston's most notorious flops, it was also his biggest professional disappointment, was a show called We Take the Town. It was a musical in which he played the role of Pancho Villa. Now, despite sinking his own money into the show and receiving stellar personal notices, the show closed out of town. It never made it to New York. And this next song survives because it was plucked from obscurity by the young Barbra Streisand, who put it in her first LP. She was under consideration at the time to play the female lead. This song survives because a canny young singer knew gold when she heard it. How does the wine taste? Does it sting your lips? What is the fruit like just beyond my fingertips? Just out of reach, I see so much I cannot taste, I mustn't touch. Tied to my little world, nice safe little world. What would it be like if I broke the string? Would it be lovely and a little frightening? There is so much I've never understood. How How does the wine taste? Is it good? Just out of reach, I see so much I cannot taste, I mustn't touch. Tied to my little world, my safe little world. What would it be like if I broke the string? Would it be lovely and a little frightening? How does the wine taste? Does it make you glow? How does the wine taste? How does the wine taste? I think I know. Now, not many people know that the Oscar-winning film, The Lion in Winter, which starred Peter O'Toole and Katharine Hepburn, was initially a Broadway flop, starring Robert Preston, opposite Rosemary Harris. Nevertheless, Preston continued to return to the stage. Ben Franklin in Paris played the Great White Way in the 1964-65 season. And shortly after The Lion in Winter closed in 1966, Preston opened in the smash hit I Do, I Do opposite Mary Martin, winning his second Tony in the process. Sometimes in the morning when shadows are deep, I lie here beside you just watching you sleep. And sometimes I whisper what I'm thinking of. My cup runneth over with love. Sometimes in the evening when you do not see, I study the small things you do constantly. I memorize moments that I'm fondest of. My cup runneth over with love. In only a moment we both will be old. We won't even notice the world turning cold. And so in this moment, with sunlight above, my cup runneth over with love. With love. With love. With love. Preston's last two musicals, The Prince of Grand Street and Mack and Mabel, failed to score with either the critics or with audiences. But truth be told, the song that you heard earlier, I'm a Star, would be a much better known song today if The Prince of Grand Street had been a hit. And Jerry Herman's score for Mack and Mabel contained more well-known songs than most smash Broadway musicals do today. Songs like Wherever He Ain't, Look What Happened to Mabel, Time Heals Everything, and this ballad, introduced by Preston in the show, playing the role of Max Sennett. I won't send roses or hold the door. I won't remember which dress you wore. My heart is too much in control. The lack of romance in my soul will turn you gray, kid. So stay away, kid. Forget my shoulder when you're in need. Forgetting birthdays is guaranteed. And should I love you, you would be the last to know. I won't send roses, and roses suit you so. My pace is frantic, my temper's cross, with words romantic I'm at a loss. I'd be the first one to agree that I'm preoccupied with me, and it's inbred, kid. So keep your head, kid. In me you'll find things like guts and nerve, but not the kind things that you deserve. And so while there's a fighting chance, just turn and go. I won't send roses, and roses suit you so. Now, here is a song from the Schmidt and Jones two-hander, I Do, I Do, which traced the lives of a married couple from the day of their marriage to the day many years later when they were leaving the only home that they'd known. And Michael and Agnes each have their own ideas about the aging process and how it affects a person. And in the show, they each get a song to express their views. Now, Agnes's song, Flaming Agnes, is essentially a revenge fantasy. Now, Michael's song, how to describe Michael's song? Well, you know what? Let's just let Michael speak for himself. It's a well-known fact that a man is more attractive the older that he grows. He's like a late October rose. He's noticed everywhere he goes. It's the strangest thing, but a man is more distinguished as time starts sliding by. Although I really don't know why. I couldn't change it if I tried. Unfortunate, maybe, but changeable? It's not. Men of 40 go to town, women go to pot. It's a well-known fact that a man is more attractive with each passing year. He gets more and more attractive, and the girls react. It's a well-known fact. When a man is under 21, he is not worth a damn. He thinks that he's a tiger, but he's really just a lamb. He growls, he roars, he wears his trousers tight, but he's like that no-good hound of ours, all bark, no bite. When a man is under 31, he's like domestic beer. He has a certain body, but he doesn't have it here. He wheels, he deals, he doesn't spare expense, but he's like the national budget, all bills, no sense. But when a man is 41, he's entering his prime. Delightfully witty, still he's wise, for he stood the test of time. It's a well-known fact that a man is more attractive with each passing year. He gets more and more attractive, and the girls react. It's a well-known fact. Now, as I said earlier, I was 11 years old when I first saw The Music Man. And I first heard this next song and the dialogue that introduces it. But I still get goosebumps thinking back to that day in the dark, to how I was and how it changed me. Well, either you're closing your eyes to a situation you do not wish to acknowledge, or you are not aware of the caliber of disaster indicated by the presence of a pool table in your community. Well, you got trouble, my friends. Right here, I say trouble right here in River City. Why, sure, I'm a billiard player. Certainly mighty proud to say, I'm always mighty proud to say it. I consider the hours I spend with the cue in my hand are golden. Helps you cultivate horse sense and a cool head and a keen eye. Ever take and try and give an ironclad lead to yourself from a three-rail billiard shot? Well, just as I say it takes judgment, brains, and maturity to score in a ball line game, I say that any boo can take and shove a ball in a pocket. And I call that slaw the first big step on the road to the depths of day. Where I say first, medicinal wine from a teaspoon, then beer from a bottle. And the next thing you know, your son is playing for money in a pinchback suit and listening to some big out-of-town Jasper Heater talk about horse race gambling. Not a wholesome trot race, no, but a race where they sat down right on the horse. You like see some stuck-up jockey boy sitting on Dan Patch, making blood boil, well, I should say. Now, friends, let me tell you what I mean. You got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pockets at the table, pockets that mark the difference between a gentleman and a bum with a capital B and that rhymes with P and that stands for pool. And all week long, your River City youth will be frittering away. I say your young man will be frittering. Frittering away there, noontime, supper time, chore time, too. Get the ball in the pocket. Never mind, get the dandelions pulled for the screen door patched or the beefsteak pounded. Never mind pumping any water to your parents are caught with a cistern empty on a Saturday night, and that's trouble. Yes, you got lots and lots of trouble. I'm thinking of the kids in the knickerbocker, shirt-tailed young ones, peeking in the pool hole window after school. You got trouble, folks. Right here in River City. Trouble with a capital T, and that rhymes with P, and that stands for pool. Now, I know all you folks are the right kind of parents. I've got to be perfectly frank. Would you like to know what kind of conversation goes on when they're loafing around that hall? They be trying out Bebos, trying out Cubebs, trying out tailor-mades like cigarette fiends, and bragging all about how they're going to cover up a telltale breath with sense in one fine night. They leave the pool hall, head for the dance at the armory, libertine men and scarlet women and ragtime. Shameless music that'll grab your son, your daughter in the arms of a jungle animalistic mass hysteria. Friends, the idle brain is the devil's playground. Trouble! Right here in River City, where the capital T and that rhymes with P and that stands for pool. We've surely got troubles. Right here in River City. Remember the Maine, Plymouth Rock, and the Golden Rule.
Our children's children gonna have trouble.
Oh, we got trouble. We're in terrible, terrible trouble. That game with the 15 numbered balls is the devil's tool. Oh, yes, we got trouble, trouble, trouble.
Oh, yes, we got trouble here. We got great big trouble.
With a T.
With a capital T.
Gotta rhyme it with P.
Gotta rhyme it with P.
And that stands for pool.
That stands for the pool.
When people speak of gay Paris, they think that when they say Paris is gay, they mean that gay Paris is gay. It is not in the way Paris was gay in yesterday Paris. It means today that gay Paris is gay. They say Paris has always been that way. Along the banks of the Seine, just take a walk now and then. You'll meet some interesting men, gay Paris. Along the Rue Madeleine, Each evening round about 10, you see it time and time again, Gay Paris. If you've a soiree to spare, go to the Folie Bergère. You'll see such gaiety there. C'est la vie. Along the Rue des Beaux-Arts, where all the cabaret shows are. I mean, well, really, those are. You'll agree what they mean when they say Gay Paris. The Faubourg Saint-Honoré, where all the millionaires play, is also, I'm so glad to say, Gay Paris. The Rue de Rivoli Arcade, where fancy goods are displayed, there's also bound to be rough trade, Gay Paris. And in Arrondissement 8, the Champs-Élysées I would rate perhaps the one thing that's straight as can be. At the Café de la Paix, if you are heading that way, they drink a toast every day around 3. They make each moment as gay as la 14 juillet. That's what they mean when they say Gay Paris. Preston had 2 notable film successes, working with producer-director Blake Edwards, who at one time was married to Julie Andrews. The first was the dark, and I do mean dark comedy, S.O.B., for which he won the National Film Critics Award as Best Actor. He followed that up the next year with Victor Victoria, opposite Julie Andrews, from which you just heard the song Gay Paris, for which he was nominated for an Oscar as Best Supporting Actor. But he won the hearts of film fans when he played the role of Beauregard Jackson Pickett Burnside in the film version of the hit musical Mame, opposite Lucille Ball. And he sang this song, which was written for him for the film by Jerry Herman. Loving you is snow and jasmine and the noise of New Year's Eve. Loving you is now, and yesterday is real and make-believe. Loving you is Rome and New Orleans and gazing at the lazy summer skies. Fireworks reflecting in your eyes, foolish and improbable and wise, and loving you is tart as lemonade and sweet as April wine. Loving you is watching all the lovely things in life combine. In your arms I'm all I wish I were. I'm brave, I'm strong, and I'm true. As long as I can go on living, loving you. In your arms I'm all I wish I were. I'm brave, I'm strong, and I'm true. As long as I can go on living, loving you. Now, you can describe Robert Preston in many ways. Tall, dashing, debonair, silver-tongued. So when he chose to play an overweight, gout-ridden politician and philosopher in Ben Franklin in Paris, well, some questioned that choice. But if there's one thing we know about the real Ben Franklin, it's that silver-tongued and debonair were most definitely in his wheelhouse. Now, bits and pieces of Ben Franklin in Paris survive to this day, thanks to the Ed Sullivan Show and YouTube. And this next song, To Be Alone With You, was actually written for the show by Jerry Herman, although it was not credited to him for many years. It was also known as the Balloon Song, because it was sung by Preston and his leading lady while standing in the basket of an air balloon, presumably sailing over Paris. I'd sail the skies, off to the farthest little star I'd go. Sail the skies and watch the people disappear below. I would gladly give up every earthly thing I know to be alone with you, to be alone with you. I'd roam the earth and every corner of the seven seas, roam the earth and search the spray of every salty breeze. I would let the raging oceans take me where they please, to be alone with you. To hold your hand in mine with nobody there beside us. To hold your hand in mine, there's nothing I wouldn't do. But if someday to have to share you with the world I must, if someday I find each plan of mine is turned to dust, then while we're here, all that I want in all this world is just to be alone with you. So while we're here, I guess I might as well forget my pride. I'll admit I'm awfully glad there's someone at my side. So while we're here, I guess I might as well enjoy the ride while I'm alone with you. Now, I don't know how many of you remember the fevered frenzy for physical fitness in our schools in the early to mid-'60s. I know I do. Now, the President's Council on Youth Fitness commissioned a song from Meredith Willson, and it was a stirring march, perfect for the talents of who else? Robert Preston, fresh off his portrayal of Harold Hill in the film version of The Music Man. And it became the theme song for John F. Kennedy's Youth Fitness Commission. I haven't done that many push-ups lately. But if I did, I would know that I would hear chicken fat ringing in my ears. Touchdown every morning, 10 times, not just now and then. Give that chicken fat back to the chicken and don't be chicken again. No, don't be chicken again. Push up every morning, 10 times push up, starting low. Once more on the rise, nuts to the flabby guys. Go, you chicken fat, go away. Go, you chicken fat, go. Good morning. Hands on hips, place. Next, touch your toes with me. Ready. Touchdown. Up,
Every
down.
morning,
10 times. 3,
just
up.
now and
Four,
then.
up. 6
to the chicken and
7
be chicken again.
9
Be chicken
10
again.
and halt. Hit the dirt, hit. Push-ups next, nice and steady, not too fast, ready. Push up, down,
Every
up.
morning,
10 times, push up, go
Starting
low. Down,
Once
that's
more
5.
on the rise,
Down,
to the
6.
flabby guys.
Down,
Go, you
7.
chicken fat.
Down,
Go
8. Go, you chicken fat, go. Now, going back to Michael and Agnes in I Do for a bit. Like many couples in long-term relationships, Michael and Agnes have their occasional differences. Nobody's perfect, nobody's perfect. I am human, so are you. Nobody's perfect, nobody's perfect. So here is what we ought to plan to do. Let's make a list of irritating habits that we think the other person has. Then once we know our irritating habits, we can correct them. As for example, now please don't be offended, but because these things exist, I have taken the little liberty of fixing up a little list. This is a piece of paper. This is a column which, as you see, I have placed upon this piece of paper. This is a list of receipts and bills, what we might call household finance, which I have entered along this line, forming a business-like design inside the column which I prepared upon this piece of paper. This is the total of all those bills. It represents a month's expense, the whole outlay in checks and cash that went for the rent and the corned beef hash. In short, the sum and net result of all the figures inside the column which I prepared upon this piece of paper. Now, this, as you know, is a statement from the bank. It must be compared with the total result of all the figures inside the column. If we are to know in terms of cost just how much money we've made or lost, how far in fact we've come or gone, what I'm trying to say is, honey, we're overdrawn again. You chew in your sleep. You do. You chew. You go like this. You do. You chew in your sleep. You do it frequently. And it's absolutely awful. Don't you agree? We're totally dressed and ready to go. I open the door, but do we make it? No. It's where are my gloves, my gloves, my gloves, and where is my purse, my purse, my purse? Where is my keys, where is my hat, where is my this, where is my that? If I protest, it only makes it worse. Hat and gloves, keys and purse, pain in the neck, terrible curse. And I would simply like to state that if you ask me what I hate, it's the terrible, horrible habit you have of always being late. You give me Russian dressing, which I happen to detest. You grab the morning paper and you take the part that's best. Every night since we've been wed, you poured cold cream into bed. Every night beneath the sheets, must you look like trick or treat? Well, nobody's perfect, nobody's perfect. I am human, so are you. Nobody's perfect, nobody's perfect. So here is what we ought to plan to do. You take my list and see if you can't do a little better. And I'll take yours and see if I can make a correction. 'Cause nobody's perfect, especially not you, not you, not you, not you, not you, not you, not you. Now, earlier in the show, in talking about We Take the Town, I may have implied that there was only one worthwhile song, How Does the Wine Taste, in that show. However, after seeing the show out of town, no less than Stephen Sondheim wrote to the composers asking for a copy of a different song, a song that had been sung in the show by Pancho's gang. And he later used that song, and he put it in his list of the 10 songs that he wished he'd written. Silverware, we like silverware. I got dining chair and flower pots. We are very nice fellows. We never do nothing wrong. No, we are innocent, yes, sir. We don't make trouble for nobody. If anybody say different, we kill them. Souvenirs, we like souvenirs. I got chandeliers, someone's gold teeth. We are plenty nice fellows. We never kill nobody much. We only shoot them a little. We don't take nothing, just look at the way they 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 love us, they love us, they love us. They give us all of these beautiful things. Bracelets and rings. Listen, we are gentlemen. We are gentlemen. We appreciate nice, lovely girls. And we always say gracias. We do not do nothing bad. We are not mean at nobody. They are mean to say that we are mean, but they don't understand, they don't think it through, they don't live long enough to, but if they did they would, but they don't cause they can't. They are maybe perhaps a little bit dead too much already. That makes us feel very sad, so we take good care of all their bird cages, candlesticks, flower pots, dining chair, Now, thinking back on The Music Man again, I still wonder, even after all these years, what was it about essentially a simple story of a con man taking over an Iowa town? What was it that so resonated with audiences and with me? Yes, it has a great book and score. Certainly it featured one of the best male performances in musical theater history. But there has to be something more. I think it's because the show calls to mind an American past, which may or may not have existed. And Meredith Willson's songs caught nostalgia and lightning in a bottle with their golden glow of happy personal associations. Now, listen to these next two songs because they're actually one and the same. While 110 cornets played the air, then I modestly took my place as the one and only bass, and I oompahd up and down the square. Good night, my someone, good night, my love, while 110 cornets right behind. A star is shining its brightest light. There were horns of every shape and sweet dreams be yours, dear, if dreams there be. While 110 cornets played the air, I wish I may, and I wish I might. Now, good night, my someone, good night. Light a rose, I'm home again, Rose, to get the sun back in the sky. light a rose, I'm home again, Rose, about 1,000 kisses shy. Ding, dong, ding, I can hear the chapel bell chime. Ding, dong, ding, at the least suggestion, I'll pop the question. Light a rose, I'm home again, Rose, without a sweetheart to my name. Light a rose, now everyone knows, and I am hoping you're the same. So here is my love song, not fancy or fine. Light a rose, oh, won't you be mine? Dream of now, dream of then, dream of a love song that might have been. Do I love you? Oh yes, I love you. Will I ever tell you? But only when we dream again. Sweet and low, sweet and low. How sweet that memory, how long ago. Forever, oh yes, forever. Will I ever tell you? Oh no.
Light a rose, oh, light a rose, oh.
Dream
Light a rose, I'm
of
home again,
now.
Rose, to get the sun back in
Dream
the
of
sky.
now. Dream
Light a
of
rose,
a
I'm home
love
again, Rose, about
song
1,000
that might have
kisses
been.
shy.
Do I love you?
Dong, ding.
Oh yes, I
can
love
hear
you.
the chapel bell chime.
Will I ever tell
Dong,
you?
ding.
But only
At the
when
least
we
suggestion,
dream again.
I'll pop the question.
Sweet
Light a rose,
and
I'm home again, Rose,
low.
without a
Sweet
sweetheart to my
and
name.
low. How
Light a
sweet
rose,
that
now everyone knows
memory.
that I am hoping
How long
you're the
ago?
same.
Forever.
My love
Oh yes,
song,
forever.
not fancy or fine.
Will I ever tell
Light a
you?
rose, oh, won't you be
Oh,
mine? Light a rose, oh, light a rose, oh, light a rose.
Before we conclude, I have some well-deserved thank yous to send out to some folks. First, I want to thank everybody here at Don't Tell Mamas for allowing me to play here. Sydney Meyer, Tanya Mobley, Randy, your server. I want to thank Adam for his lights and sound. I want to thank my director, Eric Michael Gillette. I want to thank my ensemble, Gretchen Reinhagen and Eric Michael Gillette. I want to thank these marvelous musicians, Peter Grant, Tom Kirshner, and my musical director, Mr. Tom Nelson. I also want to send out special thanks to a friend who has helped me through getting into the cabaret community and helping me to publicize my shows. He is one of the most beloved figures in cabaret, and that's Mr. Richard Holbrook. And of course, I want to thank all of you for coming out on this chilly evening. Thank you so very much. Now, as I think you've seen, Robert Preston's career had its ups and its downs, its hits and its misses. But through it all, he realized that it doesn't really matter how far you fall or even how often you fall, so long as you get back up, so long as you endure. Now that character trait stood him in very good stead, and I have tried to apply it myself in my own life when things have sometimes gotten a little bit rough. Half the battle is learning to smile, to put out your chest, to lift up your chin. Half the battle is picking up the pieces and starting over again. Half the battle, be true to your style, in trouble to jest, to toughen your skin. Half the battle is rising in defiance with the cry, I never give in. They can think they've got me beaten, they can knock me down, but I'll rise up off the floor. Just as long as I can keep alive the will to plow. Well, they've won the battle, hell, they haven't won the war. Half the battle's that one extra mile. Can you meet the test? Then where is that grin? With half the battle, you tuck it in your pocket, and you know then somehow you'll win. You know then somehow you'll win.
Ladies and gentlemen, Bob O'Hare.
I promise you a happy ending like the ones that you've seen on the screen. So if you've had a bad beginning, love will come out winning in the closing scene. And when you find it rough contending with the grind that the world puts us through, I can promise you a happy ending that has you loving me, loving you. I promise you a happy ending like the one you've been dreaming about, where vows are vowed and knots are knotted and the preacher's potted as the reel runs out. And so I'm strongly recommending that you pack up your old point of view. I can promise you a happy ending that has you loving me, loving you.
Ladies and gentlemen, one more time for Bob O'Hare.
Ready? He got my toes tapping. I think he's got a great voice, great sense of humor, and a great sense of rhythm. And he's Well, there were a lot of lyrics there, and I understand that. I understand the challenge, and he did a great job. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. Who's next?
Linda Kahn.
Oy, oy, oy. Okay, where are you? I don't even. Oh, there you are. Okay, the light is just bright enough. Okay, I have to think.
Did Bob O'Hare get your toes tapping?
Oh, yes, he did. He did.
Tell it like you're just talking to Bob.
Okay. Bob O'Hare, we don't know each other. My name is Linda Kahn. I'm so glad I decided to come and see your show. Thank you, Richard. Well, I knew he wouldn't back somebody who wasn't wonderful. I'd say charm was the most wonderful thing I took away from tonight. And I learned about Robert Preston. I thought you channeled him beautifully without imitating him. You were you, but you brought a life to the songs that was so great. And to hear Light of Rose as a solo, I loved that. Even though they came in at the end, your little ensemble, but it was really great. It was lovely, and the song choices were great. You are wonderful. I love the story, and thank you. I'm so glad I was here.
We're glad you're here. Safe travels home.
Ah, yes. Fingers crossed.
Okay.
Go for it.
Bob, I loved your show. It was absolutely wonderful. It was too short. I was so surprised when you said, this is the end. I was like, what? Oh my gosh. It was just so wonderful. Thank you for your talent. Thank you for spending time here with us and showing all of us that it's never too late to do anything, and your voice is amazing. Thank you so much. Mwah.
That was perfect. Thank you. Thank you so much. That was perfect. You know the sound?